AM 1430 KRGI 105.5 FM. Good morning. I'm Brian Gallagher. This is Community Connection. It's brought to you by Cornhusker Toyota Honda, Nebraska's only combined Toyota Honda dealership. Thursdays, we turn our focus to education. Kicking it off today, Interim Superintendent for Grand Island Public Schools, Matt Fisher, is here to tell us, and he comes in with a big smile. He says, Brian, end of the school year is coming up, exclamation point. That's really neat.
Well, it is. It's always great to get to the end of the school year, and we are done next Wednesday at 11 in the morning. We're going to turn them loose for the summer, and that's always a great point to get to. It's because by this time, whether it's students or teachers or support staff or whoever it is you're talking to, it's time. You just get to that point where it's time to be done. It's time to have some time away, time to regroup, reset, and get ready to attack another year in the fall.
Of course, graduation is a big step along the way for that senior class. And so the ceremony was held over Mother's Day weekend for really all of the Grand Island schools, but for Grand Island Public, the festivities were held at the Heartland Event Center. And you said you noticed something about the graduating class this year.
Yeah, I've been a part of 30-plus graduations, either as a principal or a superintendent, and so I've been on the stage, shaking students' hands, congratulating them, and I think one of the things that really stuck out to me that was different about this graduation is the number of our students, such gratitude to actually get to this milestone, and I think when you think about where a lot of our students have started their lives, that expectation that you're going to be a high school graduate just doesn't exist in a lot of places where our students started out at. So for them to get to this point is truly a monumental occasion in their lives. That was something that when they started out, that was not on the table. And I think, you go back and you look at the work that, our staff has done and the work that the students and their families have done to get them to this point. And it really was exciting to see that thrill that those students and then their families had when they got across the stage and got that diploma.
The sheer numbers, too, are really something that a lot of people may take for granted. They know that Grand Island is one of the biggest schools in the state. But when you put everybody together and then get their family in there, the Heartland Event Center is the only place that can hold them all at once.
Yeah, it was full house, and we also live streamed the ceremony, and a lot of people, I think, took advantage of being able to watch it from outside the Heartland Event Center. But it was full. We walked 520 students across the stage, and you think about all of the family connections that they have and the family that they brought in with them, and it was a full house.
Well, you think back, too, to the midterm graduation. So, you got some serious numbers that were in the graduating class for this year.
Midterm, and then there were some students that just simply elected not to go through the ceremony. And then we will also have a small summer graduation for some of our students that needed to finish up just a few classes that they'll get done, and then we'll have a ceremony in the summer as well.
Step by step, this is as the kids move on, but this is also the beginning of a new step for the school system. You mentioned the classes will be ending next week, so then you've got staff that's wrapping up their current activities, but for many, especially with administration, that new school year officially begins, but you've already had some discussions or work beginning for the 2023-24 year.
Right. A lot of the planning for the upcoming year has already been being done, and now that teachers are going to be freed up and not have students anymore, part of their summer gets to be spent actually, going through training and working to develop skills that we want to make sure that we have in place for the coming year. And then, as you mentioned, administratively, there's just a lot of planning that's going on, whether it's principals within their buildings, and then all of our principals together planning district-wide. implementation of different programs, and then on back to the central office and the things that we're doing. And we're gearing up obviously with the training and curriculum and those kind of things, but also the summertime's a big time for the budget piece. That's where all of the dollars and cents get put together, and we'll be hammering out that budget over the course of the next couple months.
You mentioned the budget piece. A big part of that is state funding, and that's something that has seen highs and lows over the last few years. Where is the current status, especially how Grand Island Public Schools relates to that?
Well, right now, the formula that's in place, because the legislature hasn't actually advanced anything yet, but right now we would be seeing a little bit of an uptick in our funds from the state, and again that happens just about annually. Part of that has to do with the student numbers, and part of it has to do with the overall cost of operation of schools all across the state, because that's how the number gets set as far as what that state aid number is. With the legislation that's coming through, there are significant changes that will be a part of the new finances as we move ahead, and we are hopefully going to see maybe a little more of an uptick. It's not going to happen for us in this coming year. Maybe by next year, there's some increased special education funding that I think we'll see some benefit from. There's districts that are not equalized are going to see a significant uptick in their funding, because foundation aid, where schools are going to receive X number of dollars for every student that they have, is going to happen probably if the legislature goes ahead and advances the bill that contains that, and it's expected that they will. But with an equalized district like Grand Island Public Schools you're going to gain that foundation aid on one side, and that's going to mean it's a resource, and so you're going to lose equalization aid. So it's pretty much going to be a wash for us. But we should gain a little bit of additional funding through the special ed reimbursement, but we won't see that until the 24-25 school year.
Matt Fisher is the interim superintendent for Grand Island Public Schools. A year ago, you didn't have to deal with this. All of a sudden, you come back in, change comes to GIPS, you apply for and become the interim superintendent. That term continues for now. How's it feel for you to be back involved in all of this day-to-day activity?
Well, it's definitely a little different, and in the work I was doing before, I was actually doing a lot of work with budgets, so that part is not new, as I was working with a number of school districts on budgets, through the summer last year. But to really have that single focus on not only budget, but really everything else that's goes into getting prepared for the next year, for me, it's really nice to get to this point now, because this is kind of normally where you would start a job at, when you're in the middle of the summer. And, so I think getting through this school year, it's been really good to be able to get some foundation around what are some of the things, what are the challenges, and some of the things that we really do need to be prepared for. So I think I'm in a good place to work through the things that are going to be required throughout the summer. But I really am looking forward to kind of getting to that point where, we're starting a new year, and I'm in at the ground level. That'll be kind of nice.
And there you have it. It sounds like the report card's okay so far.
Yep.
But that little phrase, room for improvement, still stands there.
There's always room for improvement. It doesn't matter where you're at or what you're doing. There's always room for improvement, and certainly we're going to look at ways that we can get better.
Well, I can see in your eyes that it must be okay. So congratulations on getting through the first part of this new phase. Congratulations on getting this school year pretty close put to rest, and get ready for the next journey. So look forward for the continued updates. Keep up the great work.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Matt Fisher, interim superintendent for Grand Island Public Schools. Good morning from AM 1430 KRGI, 105.5 FM.